let's dispel all these myths, okay? Shedeur Sanders didn't slide in the draft because of his dad, because, the meetings and all this different stuff. He slid because of his talent, okay? He's a developmental quarterback right now. Shedeur Sanders is a developmental quarterback in the NFL eyes, in a lot of different GM's eyes. He's a developmental piece. Now, he's going to a place in the NFL where he'll be able to get time. He has literally 4 quarterbacks ahead of him. He's going to have time to develop. He's going to have time to learn how to be a professional. He's going to be in an organization where he's one of the biggest names on the team already, but he's not going to be a big piece of the team, year one at least. But let's get into the nitty gritty, man. Shedeur Sanders did not fall in the draft because of his dad, because of his antics. It was simply because the NFL did not deem him a franchise changer. He's a developmental quarterback that has a lot to work on, but has a lot of potential upside. But right now, he's just not that. And that's why he dropped. It's very simple. Now, there's politics in the NFL. I'm not going to sit here and act like there's not politics in the NFL and that the NFL doesn't, do certain things to certain guys just because of who they are, what they've been portrayed to be, right? The NFL does flex their power. They've done it thousands of times. Look at Colin Kaepernick, right? Look at, many of you might not know, but remember Michael Sam, okay? Let's look at Colin Kaepernick and Michael Sam. Colin Kaepernick tried to create his own initiative, okay? Try to create his own initiative, stop racism. I'm not standing for the flag. The NFL got him the hell up out of here, okay? And guess what they did? Years later, it stopped racism all over the NFL end zones. Because at the end of the day, it's about power. You're not gonna make us do something that we haven't already planned to do, right? So we're gonna get you up out of here, and we're gonna use your idea and still capitalize on it. Michael Sam was, I believe, one of the first openly gay players in the NFL. Michael Sam was the SEC Defensive Player of the Year. Do you understand the type of accolades that upholds to? SEC Defensive Player of the Year. He was on TV making out with his boyfriend on draft night. Cake all in his mouth. He was doing a lot. The NFL wasn't ready to start their gay initiative when Michael Sam was ready to do it. Michael Sam went undrafted as a SEC Defensive Player of the Year. Do you understand? So, yes, the NFL will flex their muscle. And guess what they did? Guess what the NFL did years later? We have Pride. We have NFL Pride Week. Pride Month, I believe. It's NFL Pride, a part of the NFL initiative. So, at the end of the day, the NFL will flex their muscles. There are politics in the NFL, of course. But there's so many examples of players who've done heinous crimes, who have terrible character flaws, who have pending charges on them currently, like pending charges that have not been resolved, that still go first round, that still get selected. I mean, I can't remember the guy's name. Michael Orr? No, it wasn't Michael Orr. I can't remember the offensive lineman's name that had a video come out with him smoking a bomb. Had a gas mask on. He was smoking the bomb right before the NFL draft. Yeah, he might have slipped a little bit, but his talent is resounding. And that's the big key. That's the big piece to this. Your talent has to be resounding. Okay, yes, there's been guys that have had charges. I mean, look, Tyrann Mathieu had all these times he was dismissed from the team. He's going to get selected. I believe he got selected third round. I think he got selected third round. At the end of the day, look at Greg Hardy. Greg Hardy had 1,000 different charges, bro. He stayed in the NFL. He had a long NFL career. At the end of the day, there is no racism play. There is no, oh, I'm scared of his dad. All of that, bro, people are just throwing conspiracy theories at the wall, see if it sticks. It's simply about his game. The NFL didn't value the fact that Shedeur Sanders is a franchise changer right now. And they looked at it from a standpoint of, we're not about to waste. If you fall out of the first round, you're going to fall. Because second, third, fourth round, I mean, you got to understand, bro, these coaches are trying to keep their jobs. These GMs are trying to keep their jobs. They have a lot of different pressures on the line to make sure their team meets expectations. We're not spending a second, third round pick on somebody we don't believe is going to change an organization. Is going to come in and play right now. Is going to come in and give us a chance to compete for the starting role. They didn't look at him as that. And on top of it, the personality, the swag, the cockiness, you need that as a football player. I would never bash somebody who has a cocky demeanor because you need that. You literally need that to survive playing any type of football, especially the collegiate level and especially the NFL. Because if you don't believe it, they're going to tell you what you are. So Shedeur having this cocky demeanor and being a fifth round pick is amazing because it tells me from a outside looking in perspective that he has that dog in him to make sure that regardless of what they tell me I am, I'm going to prove that I'm better than that, which is great. But at the same time, if we looking at you as a developmental guy, not a franchise changer right now, and on top of that, you got all this personality, right? And when I say personality, I don't mean cockiness. I mean skipping team meetings to go to Fashion Week in Paris. I mean skip throwing the combine because, hey, we already think we a top 5 pick. His dad saying he's not going here, he's not going there. We're denying teams that are going to draft us. That type of demeanor has to come with the game to back it up. Now, I'm not saying he don't have the game to back it up. I'm saying in their eyes, if you don't have the game to back it up, let me give you all an example. I compare everything to relationships. Imagine a girl, she's solid. She a cool 7. She a cool 8. But she telling you a list of things that she demands. Oh, yeah, I need my man making this. I need my man doing this. Open every door. You start to criticize who this person that's telling me this information is. Okay, but I'll do this for Beyonce. I'll do this for somebody that's of stature. But for her to have all these different demands, that's how the NFL looking at it. Bro, you got all these different demands. You got all this different stuff that you bring to the table. But we don't see the production to back it up. We see a guy that had great stats, but it was pedicured. It was manicured, whatever word you want to use. It was constructed in an offense like Colorado that wasn't a pro-style offense at all. Colorado did not have a pro-style offense at all, even when they had pro-style coaches. We threw the ball 55 times a game. We took a lot of sacks. Our timing was off. When we played bigger competition, we didn't seem to have the best stats. So at the end of the day, that's what they're evaluating. They're evaluating the film. Do y'all not realize Caleb Williams last year had crazy character flaws? Everybody was talking about how, oh man, is he a good teammate? Can he lead an organization? But when you turn the film on, and see Caleb Williams throwing off one leg, breaking out of a sack, throwing the ball, changing hand, like, come on, bro. The very first play Caleb Williams was introduced to us, he stepped in for Spencer Rattler, who also had major character flaws, who also slid in the draft. Because guess what they did? They looked at Spencer Rattler's Netflix show and saw the major character issues. And then they looked at him and said, okay, we got some upside here, but we're not dealing with that from a backup quarterback. Okay, now back to Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams was introduced to us getting in the game. It was 4th down. He was about to take a sack, or he was about to hand the ball off and get a turnover. He takes the ball from the running back hands and takes off running for a touchdown. those type of plays, film speaks for itself, bro. At the end of the day, regardless of what you want to put on it, film is going to speak volumes over anything. Because at the end of the day, regardless of race, regardless of daddy said this and we don't want to deal with his daddy, all that is fake, bro. Don't listen to nobody saying all that information, because when your film is put on and they see somebody that's a dog, that's dominant, bro, it don't matter what issues you got in your family. It don't matter what you've done in the past. It don't matter what your daddy like. Bro, they gonna put you on the field if it's gonna make them some bread. If they feel like you gonna get on this field and be a baller, they gonna put you out there. But at the end of the day, they didn't view him as that. But regardless, bro, this is the best thing that's ever happened to Shedeur. This is the best thing that's ever happened to him, because for once in your life, it's going to be at the bottom. You got to get it from the very bottom. Like, not only are you on the bottom of the depth chart, you're going to have minimal reps. You're going to have minimal opportunities to fuck up. You ain't going to have all that college stats, all the who your dad is, who you are. Everything is out the table. And you had an organization that is notorious for changing quarterbacks. Notorious for trial and error when it comes to quarterbacks. They've had, I think, 40 quarterbacks, and in a short amount of time, they've had 40 different quarterbacks. You got 4 guys in front of you, and you're going to have, 5 reps in practice? 2 series in the preseason? You're going to have minimal time to be what you call yourself legendary. So this is the best moment he could ever have, because for a guy that is deemed cocky, for a guy that's deemed arrogant, bro, everybody had a shift of mindset. When you slide in the draft, guess what everybody started saying on social media? Damn, I feel bad for that kid. Man, I feel bad for him, bro. Like, he don't deserve that. And you got everybody on your side right now. Everybody wants to see what you're going to do. Whether they just tuned in to see you fail or tuned in to see you overcome, you got everybody watching you, and you got more people than ever that are on your side, because they really want to see if you can capitalize this opportunity. So, I mean, at the end of the day, bro, it's a hell of an opportunity just to be in the NFL. And it's really going to show, are you really legendary, bro? Are you really something different than what we haven't seen? We haven't seen you without your dad, right? Let's call it a spade. At Jackson State, he could have threw 50 picks in practice. He wasn't leaving that starting quarterback spot. Okay, he could have threw 50 picks at Colorado. He wasn't leaving that starting quarterback spot. That he never had no competition, right? I'm not saying that doesn't mean he's a good player, but he's never had no competition that could actually take his spot and overcome everything he had going on. So for the first time, we get to see him compete with some real dudes, right? Regardless of how you feel about Kenny Pickett in the NFL, regardless of how you feel about Jameis Winston, the 30 for 30 jokes and all this different stuff. No, I'm sorry, not Jameis Winston. Regardless of how you feel about Kenny Pickett, regardless of how you feel about Joe Flacco, oh, he's old, and regardless how you feel about Deshaun Watson, all those guys are better than the Shedeur right now. All 3 of those guys are better than Shedeur. Now, Dylan Gabriel, he got a chip on his shoulder. We're going to see what he's talking about, right? But I'm not counting Dylan Gabriel out. Everybody's a professional, and everybody's stats and everything are at 0. Okay? You're at an organization that's notorious for failing, and we're going to see what you made of. At the end of the day, we're going to see. So this is going to be the biggest time in his life, and I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited to see it. I'm a Shedeur fan. I don't think his cockiness got him slipping in the draft. I don't think his cockiness is going to play a part to him, making a roster or dealing with GMs. But you do have to understand that I hope that gave you a little bit of humility to know, like, look, I think I'm that guy, but you feel me? I don't want to be a distraction. I don't want to be somebody that is viewed not professional. Look at your best friend, Cam Ward, man. Like, take some things from Cam now. You got the attention you needed. You got the spotlight on you. You don't need it no more. It's already on you. The lights are bright as they possibly can be, bro. You don't need to put nothing else on your own back. Just go out there and play ball. Now, the last thing I'm gonna say about this topic is, as far as the Cleveland Browns organization, this has to be one of the worst. Why would you go into camp with 5 quarterbacks and 3 are legit? I don't understand. Like, I'm confused on why they wasted a 3rd round. Okay, I get it. You didn't want Shedeur. Cool. Why did you get Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round? And then you go back and get Shedeur in the 5th. So now you got 5 quarterbacks on the roster going into camp. And it doesn't make sense because there's no way to properly evaluate. Now, I understand Cleveland has been notorious for changing quarterbacks and being on a short leash with a lot of guys, but it doesn't make sense to have Joe Flacco, who was great in Cleveland in the playoffs very recently. Deshaun, you were trying to get off of his contract, but you're not moving it, so you might as well figure it out. Kenny Pickett, who, you know, he's solid, right? Those 3 right there have been starters in the NFL. Okay, cool. Now you bring in 2 rookies. Now you're clearly making a point that these guys aren't playing, but are you really going into camp with 5 quarterbacks when you got so many other positional needs? I just don't really understand their whole draft process. Like, that shit didn't make no sense to me. But I mean, hopefully, you know what I mean? Hey, make the best. Shedeur make the best out of everything, bro. But, you know, Cleveland, y'all make me sick, bro.